What has he done? Power of Now. Early Life and Education. Of course you had an unhappy childhood. You look weird as shit. German Mystics. Alright, you're weird as shit. Oh, Bajo Bear, welcome back. Kurt Tolherd, weird fucker dude. Yeah, he's pretty much mentally insane. I'm pretty sure he had letters, bro.
Hello.
Hello.
Hello. That's literally what I say when I type. I push the hello button. I go hello. Every time I go hello.
Oh.
Okay, all right. But if you, I think you're reading his wiki.
Yeah, but like, dude. So even the wiki, I think he had ghostwriters.
Yeah, dude. It
Like
was.
his wiki even sounds absurd.
He had an Oprah sticker on his back of his book, so you know something was. And I told her I looked at it and I was like, okay, from knowing my idea of like of all these people, he's probably a fucking weirdo. And I was like, I didn't want to say grabbler yet because I was like, you're not ready for that
Well,
word.
so like the last time I was on a camping trip, one of my buddy's girlfriend, the next morning, like we were like making breakfast and everything, and she was like telling us about this book she was reading, and I was like, oh, that sounds super interesting. Can I see it? And she's like, oh yeah, and it was written by some factual pedophile bishop or whatever, and like some other like really creepy dude, and but like, I didn't want to be hateful, and so I just kind of looked at the book and I was like. I made a couple of just like offhand comments, like, "Oh, so like, what do you find like enjoyable about this?" And she said just kind of like basic, like, kind of like hippy dippy nonsense.
Yeah.
I was like, "So, this dude of the cloth wrote your book. Is he a good Catholic or like a pedophile Catholic? Do you know?" And her face just got white, and then she started laughing, and then I literally then I Googled it. And I just Googled the history of this dude that wrote the book. And I was like, sweetheart, you might want to look into the guy that wrote this book.
Yeah, I bet. See, it's like I was like, I was trying to tell her about the whole Jordan Peterson thing. I was like, dude, I know you're gonna try to do self-help, but that doesn't really exist. It's really
Exactly.
if you want to let God help you. You can run away, and I was like, you can run away from God, dude. You could totally dip. He will let you die. He'll let you suffer and die. Huh?
Bell Reaver is calling you fat, bro.
No, he said he
That's
was
what I get
fatter.
from that.
He was fatter.
Well,
I'll,
I
I'll
think
take
Bell
it.
Reaver is calling you fat.
I'll take it. I'm not the fattest. I'm just fat. And he floated across the Rio Grande. Dang. We make that a song.
Well, so
No other guy was fatter by
I was
far.
just catching up. So Bajo, remember how we were getting on like how many wings could a Hugh Cup could clip wing?
Oh shit, yeah, I forgot. How many have you come up with?
I haven't forgot about that, but on that same like frequency, on one of Owen's recent streams, he was talking about like Coddington made yet another pun, and then Owen was like, "We need to have the pun police," and like I just got an instant little like comedic download from the ether on what is it? What's that major song? Shoot, what is that song? Uh, Ground control to Major
Major Tom.
Tom. Pun control to Major Cod. We can make a song. Because like how long has Owen like mocked Coddington for his puns?
Like
Pun
every
control to Major Tom or to Major Cod.
that could work. You can just find the MIDI so that you could you don't get what do you call it? What's that one thing when copywritten? The instrumental?
Oh, dude, a Lair Bear, Newfoundland Bear, welcome. Dude, I'm gonna take it like more Barney than that. I'm just gonna like so tomorrow. My plan is because I just watched the episode today. So my plan tomorrow is to just write down the lyrics for that song and just rewrite them for pun control to Major Cod and literally send the letter tomorrow.
Do it. That'll be dope. Nick can do backgrounds. He can be he'll look like we'll dress him up as David Bowie. But anyway, what else did I went to recon. I did some recon, Santa Monica, Huntington, not Venice because it was too far for us. We're just whatever. That night when I was on the highway with my classmate, the one I've been telling you about, my sci-fi. He dips out immediately on God existing. Yeah, that guy.
Yeah.
And we were doing some recon. I hate theory questions, but got a theory. Okay, my bad. They said he had a theory question, but yeah, go ahead. Anyway, so we did some recon, and the majority of people at night weren't wearing the masks, but the people who were wearing a mask were people who were on dates, like squirt boys, and I say that in the humblest way. I say that like you look at these guys and you're like, you just want to get one of those fucking squirts, bro. Like you're wearing the mask because you're trying to comply, kind of thing. And the people who
like think about it from just like a basic like male perspective is the like yes, we are more base, we understand more things than the quote unquote average person, but the average person, this average sheeple or whatever, like this average dude, he's like, oh, this COVID thing is like a real danger.
That's what I'm saying.
I want to show in their mind, their
low,
stupid little mind, they're thinking that they want to show their prospective date that they're responsible, so they put a muzzle on themselves.
Yeah, that's what it was too. And I was like thinking about it, I was like, what the fuck, dude? And then like the ones that weren't wearing it were like fishing on the pier or like already had like 3 kids. No, I didn't see any kids as far as I can remember wearing it. Obviously, I did see people in their own cars and like mostly people in like Audis, Teslas, Maseratis, wearing by themselves in their car. Wearing masks. And what else? What other recon did I do that night? Because you were talking about stuff, and I had actually it was because he was there, my classmate. I was gonna ask you some questions about because I told him
honestly, like I saw you asking the questions, but I didn't understand the context, so I was ignoring you.
No, I was like cutting out, and then I was like, oh, okay. You know how like I froze and cut off?
Yeah.
Okay. Right there, I told him, I was like, so you're telling me I'm on the same realm with this guy in California. He's 6 hours away. 6 hours away, mind you. And I dropped phone calls in the middle of the most condensed city in the world, right? Not in the world, but the 2 most condensed cities were talking to each other with like the best connection. And I asked, how can Buzz Armstrong or Buzz call Nixon with no landlines on the moon, no lag, no relay, whatever, just on the green phone? And he was like, yeah.
Bro, that's too smart of a question to ask.
No, but he was, because he's like a smart guy, but he's also watches too much Joe Rogan to where he's like.
Did he actually get your question though?
Yeah, he was like, yeah. Okay, yeah, because you're on the same, and he was like connecting everything, but he does a Joe Rogan thing where he'll like flip flop the next day, and I'm like, you fucking.
That's what I'm saying, dude. Is like he may like cognitively understand your question at the moment, but like, does he really have the intellectual capacity at this moment to like really process that?
I know, and I think he does, but he's been grappled by Joe. And it's like, fuck. And I sent him that clip of, I think, True Earther, Instagram profile. Post a video of Joe looking at guys, and he's all, like looking at it. And I was like, I've been like for like a year now, I've been telling him, and I was like, Joe Rogan's gay. Why are you watching him? Everyone's in class. What, dude? How is he gay? He's like, he'll kick your ass. And I was like, yeah, he's the strongest faggot around me. I bet. Like, he'll kick my ass. But I was like,
he would love to grapple me. I bet.
I was like, yeah, and I was like, I bet he'll love to wrap his fucking strong legs around my head. I get it. And he's like, everyone's like, you're gay because you're saying it. And I was like, I don't want it. He's just gonna do it. You're the one saying.
I never got hard looking at another man in spandex.
That's what
so.
And then they're like, and I was like, we had a conversation too where This is like after I think I told you already, but the McGregor fight. We were just talking. I was like, yeah, he's pretty well trained. Obviously, he's a fucking fighter. That's what he does. And the guy in the car, he's like, yeah, and their bodies were like nice. And I was like, what the fuck? And then everyone in the class heard that one, and I was like, see, MMA makes you gay. And everyone was like, and they had no like, like they're like, you
There is no retort against that. He dug his own grave.
yeah. And everyone was like, they couldn't even help like, because everyone in that class is like a dude, so they're like, oh yeah, MMA is badass if you can kick someone in the face and not cry. But I was like, see, MMA makes you sus, bro. And everyone was like heard him say that, and they're like, well, that's him. Like we all know he's gay.
I haven't said it, so I'm not gay yet. I
Yeah,
swear.
he's the one that got a boner when he said it, not me. What else? Oh, but that same class mate, he gave me a Jeep Cherokee '87, pretty nice truck. So
Dope.
yeah, I'm gonna work on it. I'm gonna lower it. Leave me alone.
Like, is that just in your genetic nature that once you buy a car, you have to lower it?
Yeah, the older, the lower for some reason. So I can only really go, it's what, 30 years old? I can only go down 10 inches legally.
So if it was any older, like, by cultural laws, it would have to scrape the ground.
It would if like right now, a 57 is just on airbags, so you can adjust the lowerability and then just, especially on new pavement, that's the best.
It's basically just a light show at this point.
Yeah, it's just you have to get a new frame. You have to buy a new frame, put the body on that. It's over. What else? I did recon. There was a bunch of shit I needed to not needed to tell you, but wanted to tell you. Let's see, military stuff I know about. Oh, that's what it was. Okay. I don't know if you've heard of March Air Force Base.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. You're military. Yeah. You should have.
I've been there.
Yeah.
How I got back from Afghanistan.
Yeah. So, do you know how there's a museum like down the street?
Yeah. The Air Museum.
Yeah. So I went. Gavin Newsom, if you're watching this and you find this video, you can suck my ass.
Gavin Newsom, if you're watching this video, fuck you.
Eat my ass. And I have inflamed hemorrhoids, bitch.
Well, I hope that's a lie, but continue.
Me too, buddy. Me too. Anyway.
Me too, man.
Anyway, so I go in without a mask, right? Because I'm a fucking bear. And I have I just finished 15 months of working on airplanes. I'm not going to wear a mask while working on these fucking airplanes. Anyway, I go in. All the dudes kind of wearing their masks. Not really, but still. They're taking the knee. They're whatever. They're doing the thing. Then, I'm walking in, not wearing a mask because I'm a grown-ass man, and I know my health standards. Everyone's not even looking at me, not batting an eye. They're just kind of like minding their own business, even the people working there, volunteer. The main guy in charge was like, Gavin Newsom finds out we can't really stay in the lobby too much. And I was like, fuck you. We're taking a picture in front of the Blackbird, the SR-71. Fuck you. I didn't waste a year and a half not to take a picture in front of the Blackbird because of fucking Gavin Newsom, who's possibly homosexual and gets ripped in the ass. Anyway. And, what else? So we take a picture, and I was like, I know legalese. And they're like, oh, you guys can't really line up. And I was like, no, we're lining up for the restroom. We're waiting in line. And we're like trying to get ready for the picture. And the guy goes, He's like, yeah, I guess you're right. And so he's like, instantly everyone was like laughed it off too, because I said it like in a funny way. I was like, well, I mean, we waited in line backwards because we're facing the SR that way, and the restrooms are that way. So I was like, oh, this is how we do it. We're buddies, so we line up like backwards for some reason, and everyone starts laughing and shit. And then and then I wasn't wearing the mask the entire time at all. I go to the restroom. I'm waiting in line because we really were, and one of the wives of the ladies come up. White women, not my type. Very beautiful white woman. Okay, the sky's blue, grass grows, birds fly. White women are very attractive. Not my type. Okay, what
All
I'm
right,
trying to say.
now that you know you're virtue signaling, continue.
No, no, I'm just saying. Oh, but not my type. Anyway, she has a newborn baby, right? Her husband's wearing the mask because he's scared. I'm like, don't be scared, dude. I'm not gonna get her sick. That I can guarantee. He's like, I know, I just don't want her to get sick. And I was like, I'm not gonna get her sick. And I'm saying truth. That's truth. And that she's saying truth as well. He doesn't want to get her sick, or she does. He does not want her to get sick. I'm not gonna get her sick. Proved, right? Wife comes up and she's like, they're not bugging you about the mask? I was like, no, what the fuck? I'm legit the only, there's like 15 people here. Me and my other classmate, we're the only two Mexicans here. Like, you think they're going to tell me what to do? Like, even if it doesn't, like, if you, I was like, I was like, out of all the Mexicans who has on their way to get their A&P license to work on jet engines, you think they're gonna tell the only 0.1% Mexican to be like, you have to listen to us? And I was like, nah. And she was like, what'd I tell you, babe? And she's telling her husband, she's like, if one of us isn't wearing the mask, none of us are wearing the mask. And he's like, I know, but
Yes.
and I was like, dude. And in my head, I didn't want to, fucking do it in front of his wife. But I was like, I wanted to be like, dishonor on you. I was like,
I would have emasculated him.
yeah, I would have. I was like, it's not my job. I was like, they have 3 kids with each other. I was like, you already did it to
Oh
yourself.
yeah, if they had 3 kids, that's another story. Then you're
Yeah,
right.
it was, the cards were, I would have looked like an asshole. I know I would have.
Yeah.
So I was just like, in my head, I was like, dishonor on you, dishonor on your wife,
Good
dishonor on
call,
your
brother. Good
kids.
call.
I was like, dishonor. And I was like, yes. And then, but in real life, I was like, oh, yes, I agree that the mask are your bullshit. You don't have to wear it. Just, just say, blah, blah. And I was like trying to help her out. She was like, yeah, I think I'm going to do that. And I was like, ugh. But in my head, I was,
Dishonor! Dishonor!
dishonor. Yeah. But what it was trying to telling to me, I was like, dude, the women get it, but the men are so fucking, they emasculate themselves. The women can't really emasculate you. It's really if you're gonna like cuck yourself by watching porn. It really
Well,
does come down to that.
did you see my video I made about Galatians chapter 5?
No.
So, dude, literally in Galatians chapter 5, Paul is talking to the Galatians, literally, letter to Galatians, and like they're like, oh, we need to keep clipping the wings because that like they were having a legit like discussion on following the law of Moses in the early days of like Christendom, and like Paul and the various other apostles, like there's lots of like writing on this in the New Testament where it's like, no, don't follow the law of Moses. Jesus covers all sins. Like, if you follow the law, then you're basically submitting yourself to hundreds of years of the Old Testament of everybody failing at that. Don't put yourself in that trap. Jesus has already saved you from that.
Mm-hmm.
And so in the letter to Galatians chapter 5, Paul gets so frustrated. He's like, all right, guys, if you really want to follow the law that bad, let me tell you basically what it means. If you're going to follow the law, like for clipping your dick, spiritually, you might as well completely emasculate yourself. Like,
Whoa.
cut the whole thing off. Because by following the law, and that mitigates the sacrifice of Jesus Christ, and so by following the law and thus mitigating the sacrifice of Jesus Christ, you are literally not only circumcising, but completely like emasculating yourself. And he says it in very diplomatic terms, but it's like, do you really want to cut your own dick off?
So
Come on,
circumcise. What is that? Like the circumference, and then so you're gonna do
well,
the cylinder size,
circumcised is just cutting the tip.
the foreskin, right?
Yeah.
And the foreskin is a circumference.
Maybe
So
that's
then
where it came from,
and the
bro.
whole dick would be a cylinder, so cylinder size, right? Hey,
Yes.
hey, I'm trying to find out what it means here, buddy.
I know.
Because I might be onto something.
I
I
know
am.
you are. It's just so weird to be talking about dicks and like in terms of like
Geometry.
geometrical shapes.
Hmm. Hmm. Anyway, But yeah, I just seem to notice that a lot of women are, I think they're way more based than men in that
Yeah.
sense, especially because like I think a lot of people don't understand what women will do to fucking not get their children in harm's way. Like I think they'll if they had a gun, they'd probably pop a lot of people like for like minor things. like 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 there's like two like 1 milk gallon left and then she's like, my baby needs this. My baby and she has like a 357 just come on. She's like, my baby needs this. It's like, okay,
Dude,
hey,
like
hey.
women are fucking crazy.
But the
And
thing, yeah.
like in some circumstances, that's literally what you need.
Yeah,
But
and
in
I think
other circumstances, it's not so good.
it's not so good. That's why I'm like the men need to be like, okay, we need this for our child. Yes, let me have a gun because you're crazy.
Yeah, so it's like, all right, there's 1 gallon of milk, and there's two couples. If the women both have the weapons, they're just gonna kill each other.
And then you're like,
If the
fuck.
men are given the weapons, they'll talk it out, and then
unless
they'll like both families will walk away with half a gallon each.
unless the guys are jerking off to punch porn, they would have given up their guns.
Well, that's what I'm saying is
Yeah,
like
yeah.
assume like
The perfect
for the
world.
men to have the guns, you have to assume they're not watching pornos.
I hope.
So
Oh, and that's another thing. So I don't know if I should tell you because
don't be a liar, tell me.
I'm not lying. I'm
Lying
just
by
withholding.
omission is still a thing,
I'm
bitch.
withholding the truth.
So you're lying by omission. Good.
Okay, that's actually the third lie. Would be lying of omission and withholding the truth are two different things.
Are they now?
I believe so.
So, just for funsies, could you please differentiate between withholding the truth and lying by omission?
So if you ask a direct question and you say, "Do you know like what'd you do this morning?" and I say, "Do I?" and I don't really answer, that's withholding the truth because I obviously know. Line of omission is when you tell a whole story and you leave something out. That's omission.
Ooh.
It's both
I
omission.
think that
Lie of omission does say within the hold the truth, but holding the truth is a totally different thing. Lie of omission falls
I
under.
see the distinction that you're making.
Yeah. So if you tell me a story about the Marines and then you're like, but I did leave out the fact that I left someone's shoes untied and they tripped and fell, not because.
I just forgot to mention I shot myself in the foot.
Yeah,
Oh.
like it changes story. It changes the story drastically. That's lie of
Yeah.
omission. Withholding the truth is like you're in court and they ask you, where were you Saturday morning, 3 o'clock, whatever, and you're like, I don't know. Which,
That's a good question.
which,
Where was I?
well, you're right. Which would be hard to if you don't really remember. It's like I don't fucking know. This 3 in the morning on Saturday. I was probably knocked out or partying. I can't remember. Unless they ask you like, what were you doing? Like, what color's your shirt? And you go, I don't know. And it's like, oh, okay. So now you know you're withholding truth, kind of thing. You know what I'm saying?
I see where you're coming from, but like the immediate question that like why I got the kind of like face was there's a lot of situations in which lying through
Yeah,
omission sounds very similar to specifically withholding the truth,
yeah.
which is probably why initially I was a little bit internally grappled. But now that you presented, there is a distinction and a difference. You
Yeah.
are right.
It's
There is a
legalese. It's a lot of legalese at that point.
yeah. It
Cause like
sounds very similar, but technically it's
it
different.
falls. It does. It's a category error too, where it falls under. I
Yeah.
think withholding the truth falls under liable omission, or vice versa.
Yeah, exactly. Because like, um, they're both like sins of like you're purposefully like not giving all the facts, but you're just doing it in a different way. So technically, it has a different like nomenclature.
Yeah, that's basically what it is. It's like a screw is a screw unless it's a bolt.
Yeah, exactly.
Oh, but so my other gravy, corn is a very big problem to the point where I can't even explain this. I only tell the bearers this. 'Cause I don't want anybody that I know that I'm helping them with this situation. So I've been helping older people clean out their houses and everything from like dead husbands and I got a bunch of free tools, which is pretty cool. But
Nice.
obviously, cleaning out some of the stuff, I find some of their more personal items, and a lot of it is porn. And it was more, yeah, and it's really mind-boggling to like know how the digital age of pornography went digital and not, like I totally forgot about the whole, what's the word I'm looking?
Paper.
Yeah, like
The
physical.
physical aspect of pornography.
Yeah, and it was like it's like mind-boggling. And this guy had like two kids, was married for his entire life. I didn't obviously tell his wife about this stuff, or anybody really that because it's just like he's not there to protect himself and he's dead.
Yeah.
So I was like thinking, I was like, the fact that I mean he hit him very shitty. Like I was able to find him in like 2 days. I was like, what the fuck am I looking at? Like, and it's also eye opening for me to like look at that and be like not even phased. I was like, bro, the shit I've seen on the internet at the age of 12, nothing, bro. Like I was like, this is like a French commercial. This is
Well,
nothing.
like if you think about it, it's like it's kind of comparative where like yes, you have like your internet history is more extensive than his box of magazines, but given the different time periods, are they not like how similar are those two experiences, you know?
Yeah. And so I was like, obviously it'd be better. I was like, it was just like eye opening. I told Nick, and I was like, it's kind of weird how it fell in my laps where either would I get, it's like I had to destroy it. I was like, I have to destroy this, obviously. And Nick was like, out of all the people, out of all like you found magazines, like you have to do something with it. And I was like, clearly. So I was gonna go to his house and I was gonna do like a whole film thing. I don't know if I should live stream it and talk about the problems of pornography in America, or just being a squirt boy entirely. But I'm gonna obviously destroy it. But I think like a good live stream or a video would be cool about it. So
So like my initial thought would be to like without looking at it, like just like crumple up all the
oh yeah,
individual pages
yeah, I was gonna have a
so
fire
that you
roaring.
have the best like kindling,
Yeah, no,
and then
I
just kind of have
legit,
like a fireside chat and
yeah, I legit
like
was
just
gonna.
start talking about it, and then like midway through the chat, oh yeah, by the way, these are all the pages of porn that I found while I was doing this.
Right.
Because like they'll like you'll
No, I
have the
want to talk. Yeah,
resonance of the fireside chat and you'll have the resonance of speaking about truthful things, but then when you relate like, oh hey, all this porn stuff that I was talking about, how detrimental it is to society, this whole time you've been watching the fire, I've like porn has literally been the kindle. I've been burning it in front of your eyes. Like I
yeah,
think that would be really powerful.
because I do. I was like, even like squirting, like going around fucking random bitches, right? You can do what you want. I don't care. But
It's bad for you.
right. And I was like telling him, I was like, me personally, whether you can probably prove it, all politics, all movies, and all pornography leads to pedophilia. And I told him, I was like, the same thing. The way homosexuals got the vote to get married, it was all the same thing. I was like, they're like, oh, who are you to judge? And it's like, well, I'm not a fucking fag. Oh, so you don't know the problems of blah blah blah. Obviously, I was in high school, so I didn't really give a fuck. But now it's like the same thing pedophiles can use on, I'm sorry, child rapists can use on homosexuals and straight people is, well, who are you to judge? No, I'm not a pedophile, right? But you go around sucking and fucking, and obviously, child rapists can use a whole guise of we just want to marry and love each other forever, like how
Well,
homosexuals did. But
Akawi, welcome. But like one stat I like to use is in self-reporting studies, 25% of the LGBTQAAIP community, like in self-reporting studies, like anonymous studies, they're like, oh yeah, I'm a pedophile. 25% of them.
right, because that's 20.
So, like, yes, I'm willing to admit that according to these studies, 75 or three-quarters of them are not complete shitbags that I think deserve a lead bullet right now.
Right.
Yes, I understand that. But that being said, if 25% of them, that's a significant percentage, are such degenerates, is that not like a common cultural thing that's
Right, and
like
that's and I
very
can see
equally spread to the rest of them.
right, and I can see I'm trying to tell them I'm like the way I see it is that they have the upper hand on a lot of people, even straight people and these churchians or whatever. Because who are you to judge? You don't even have the balls to admit that homosexuality is wrong. You don't have the balls to admit that pedophilia is wrong. You don't have the balls to stop watching porn.
Most Americans are cowards. Yeah.
Right. And then so I'm like, so you know, yeah, I get a judge because I don't watch porn. I don't go around sucking and fucking women and forgetting them like whores. That's that goes for women too. You can't protect. And I was like, I know some of these people I got in an argument with, and I was like, who are you to judge? I was like playing devil's advocate. And I was like, let's say I'm not a pedophile, but let's say I'm a pedophile lawyer. Who are you to judge? My first thing, and they couldn't even fight it off. They're like, oh, I'm not a fucking pedophile, and I was like, I didn't ask who you are not. I asked who are you, and I was like saying the same thing, and I was like saying with pride, I guess you could say with the homosexual pride. I was like, you go around sucking and fucking forgetting sluts like a fucking man whore. You gotta do this. How come I want to settle down and marry one person and love them for the rest of my life? And I was like using it, and they're just like standing there like, fuck, like,
They have no defense.
and I was like, and they're like, I was like, and I see this 100 miles away. I have 1,000 yard stare with this. I can see it coming. And you're just sitting there sucking and fucking and saying I'm the bad guy because I'm trying to stop pedophiles.
Yeah, and Newfoundland Bear's got a good point. Like how I was just saying, in self-reporting studies, 25% admitted to it. He's like, I wonder what percentage lied. So if
Live omission.
25% of them were willing to admit that they're pedophiles, what other percentage are also pedophiles? They're just too shameful to admit it in these self-reporting anonymous studies.
Right. That's live omission. We did a little full circle there.
Yes.
We brought it back.
Circle. Love it, buddy.
Um, but yeah, like I was like using that, and it was like I was like, dude, now imagine if you stopped watching porn, if you stopped going around like, and then I obviously brought it back to a personal, like for them, like personally for them, and
Hmm.
I was like, what's stopping me from, because they're obviously brought their sisters in, they weren't there, it was just me and the dudes, and I was like, what's stopping me from, and I got vulgar, and I'm obviously don't want to do it, but I was
Like
like,
doing this vulgar act with your sister kind of
yeah,
thing.
yeah, and
Making it very,
again,
very personal.
and then they're like, "Well, I wouldn't let you," and I was like, "Why not? How come you're not letting her be sexually liberated, but you get to let it be sexually liberated with all these other girls randomly?" And he's like, I just don't." And I was like, "See, what's stopping me from paying her $500 to suck my?" And I say vulgar.
Yeah, like you were just taking realities on how these men are willing to treat women, and you applied those same realities to the women they care about most.
Yeah, and obviously I'm like super protective of my virginity as a joke.
Oh
Like,
yeah,
no, but
yeah,
like
dude.
as serious, I'm like, if a girl grabs me, I'm punching her in the face. And they're like, wow, dude, you're fucking crazy. And I'm like, okay, then let me do that to your daughter. And then they're like, whoa, hold on. I'm like, so you see this fucking thing? If you want to be equals, they get to do that to me. I get to do that to them. And they're like, well, I mean, they're underage, so. So you get to go around doing these to these random girls. You don't have no morals. Where are your morals, you atheist fucking asshole? There's no God. Who's there to protect them from? And I get fucking crazy because I obviously they don't see the fucking whatever. But obviously
I
I don't.
feel.
But I obviously don't think like I'm better or anything. I'm just like you can get back to up to this level of like fucking protecting
Well,
people.
you're not looking down on them. You're just calling them for the shit that they're trying to spout.
Yeah, I guess like they're. I know they're under. I understand that they are grappled, and they can't see it yet. They do get mad at me, but it's like, dude, I'm trying to protect my cousins. I'm trying to protect my nieces and nephews. I don't
Yeah,
want.
like
I don't want them to
you're,
get grappled.
yeah, like, you're just speaking truth, and you're doing the best you can to disarm their cognitive dissidence.
Yeah, because they don't understand that they are the fucking horde. Like they don't understand. I'm like, oh, that's another thing. I told them I was like, the cuties thing. I haven't seen any promos with it. I haven't seen because I don't want that in my brain.
Yeah, see, same here.
And I was like, I already know pedophilia is bad. Why would I go? oh, hey, look at this. Look at this fucking wannabe child porn. You
Oh
seeing this?
no! This organization I know is satanic is doing more satanic things. Oh
Oh, who would
no!
have
Look at
seen it?
them.
Oh, fuck. I should have seen this. Fuck. Yeah, and it's like, oh, and then, one of them was, fuck, what were the other spells I used? Because or I guess I was despelling. Because they're like, oh, something about virginity. And I was like, oh, I was like, I was like, what if I did that to your sister? And then they're like, I was like, hey, two birds, one stone. I was like, let's knock her virginity out, and then I can knock mine out for the fun of it. Which it doesn't mean anything. And then they're like, yeah, but I mean, she's underage. And I was like, so
You're
you
an
can't.
atheist.
Yeah,
What do you
you're.
care about morality?
Yeah, like there
There's
is
no
no
God
moral.
for you.
Yeah, there is no God. You're just space dust. You're literally nothing. She's gonna die alone, and all these women that you fucked and forgot, they're gonna die alone, and you don't give a fuck about them. Don't act like you do. And so, like,
Yeah.
I like calling people slut maker.
Like, if you're gonna play these silly like belief games, let me take your beliefs to their full extent.
Yeah, it's like they stop very small. They stop very short. And I can tell
Yup.
you cannot protect anybody right now, especially your sister who's underage, from anything right now because you're doing the same thing. And obviously, I'm the bad guy, but um, it's like, dude, that's like I'm not like I'm protecting a lot. And then some of the girls I know, I'm like, you guys are more empowered than you guys think. You guys make it seem like oh, these guys just want me for one thing. It's like you're making it easy for a lot of them. Like if you're saying like,
Well,
oh, they
the
just
reason why they only want you for one thing is because you keep giving them that one
one
thing they
thing.
want.
And I told someone, I was like, one of the girls I know, a cousin, and I said, how about this? You having problems with this guy? Say you're not gonna have sex with him anymore, which honestly you probably shouldn't. You basically shouldn't, even though you're a little atheist girl. I get it. Do what you want. Give him 3 days. And I told her I was like trying to do some gematria numbers on her without her knowing. I was like, give it 3 days. Right now, call him up, text him, whatever. Say we're not gonna do it anymore out of wedlock, whatever, or however you guys talk. Say we ain't fucking no more. In 3 days, he's gonna say we should see other people. And I called it like it was, and she was like, "Yeah, he legit say it's not working out. I think we should see other people." And they said, "There you go. Stop doing it with any other guy. Every guy you meet, don't even dare. Like if it gets, you can just be like, no, no more sex. We're talking. We could kiss, we could hold hands, but we're not fucking." Obviously,
Well, dude, like I've thought about it, and I honestly I feel like even like kissing is a little bit too much.
yeah, I know. It's like that's just lust at
Because
that
like
point.
think about it, like so
Yeah.
let's say you get a pretty girl and like you're in a romantic situation, you guys are making out. That is going to arouse the male in that
Right.
situation, hands down, especially if that male is like being very celibate. So, to avoid temptation of all parties, maybe we should also limit kissing. It just
Yeah, dude.
seems logical to me.
No, yeah, I get it. See, sometimes I see a tree and I'm like, whoa, that was thick, dude. I'm like, that was not a woman though. Hold on. And then I have to like double take. I'm like, that's a tree. That's a tree, but man, if it wasn't. No, yeah, and then I told her I was like, I recommend well, everything I tell girls, I say it's the same thing for guys too. It goes both ways. And if you don't want,
Exactly.
and I tell her again, I was like, suffer and die if you want to do it that way. And she was like, I hate when you say that, but because I know you're true. And I was like, I know you're, and I was like, but I told her, I was like, I tell her how it is, you know how I am. And, I'm obviously the odd sheep, but how many times have you seen me fucking lose? And she was like,
I'm just showing you the cliff that you haven't seen. If you want to jump off that cliff, that's on you, girl.
yeah. And I said, do what you want. I got wings. I might not even start running. I can sit down or just look at everybody else fail and get mad at me because I didn't. Like, I don't know. But what other gravy have I been needing to tell you? Oh, yeah. Caveman brain. So the allure of conspiracy theories, right? So I've tend to notice that a lot of people either go into conspiracy theories for the shock value, I guess,
Hmm.
or the bandwagoning. So I remember when I first got into conspiracy theories, it was like kind of like more of those like cryptozoology kind of stuff. I used to watch like
Yep.
Dark Five, or on YouTube, and
The Chupacabra, the Loch Ness Monster,
or like it'd be like,
etc.
or seven unexplained photos. There was a picture of a man and his daughter, and there was a guy in a spacesuit, and there was no one there, and shit like that. And it's like,
Look at this
whoa.
unexplained beast. It's definitely not a Yeti.
Yeah, for some reason they didn't decide to take a second picture because the first picture was just good enough, and the beast didn't see them. I don't know. It
They're
was good.
both equally blurry, but look how different they are.
Yeah. And you can see the artifacts from Photoshop in 2006, because in 2011, stupid shit. But,
Yeah.
and then it got to like bigger conspiracy theories. I don't know if you ever heard of like creepypastas. This was like big for me in like
Oh, dude, I
junior
used
high
to
school.
watch that.
Yeah, junior high school, it was like, I was like, whoa, imagine these were real. And then it got to, what else? Like I think the first conspiracy theory that I was like really into was, I don't even remember. I think it was either 9/11 or, because as soon as I got out of high school, I was like, I never really got the idea. I think NASA was a big one for me. I think that was like the first really big one, the moon landing and all that. But I wasn't a flat earther, quote unquote, or a globe.
Dude, creepypasta.com is still a thing.
Yeah, I know. It's so stupid now, but I guess maybe my brain matured. I don't know.
Like, to me, that's kind of creepy because I remember hearing those stories and feeling like the
Genuine fear.
demonic, like little tingles and shit.
Yeah, like genuine
And
fear. Because there's some good ones. There's some like really good creative ideas that came out.
there's no story in
Yeah.
which you were exposed to demonic presences that are good.
Well, okay.
But,
Well, you know what I mean. Like, creative people came up with some creative stuff. If it was
yes,
based off,
they're entertaining stories.
and I'm
I
not
get
wrong,
that.
and I'm not wrong, and I'm not wrong.
Well,
But I'd say, but like,
I'm
but like,
not
yeah, yeah.
saying that you're incorrect for believing such stories are entertaining because I was there in the same position once,
Yeah.
but
I don't think.
it's like
Yeah, I don't think I want
so
horror.
it's just replace the horror genre with another sinful genre.
Right. I understand. I understand. I understand. Okay.
And it gets really bad really quick, bro.
I know, and I'm like, looking back, I don't think a seventh grader to a 10th grader should be reading those. Yes, I
And
understand.
so like that's like when I looked it up, I was like, what? That's creepy because like it's still here. Like people are still vibing
And not
on
even
that
people.
demonic entity.
Yeah, but
like
not even not it. Yeah,
decades later.
yeah, not even people, but like children.
Yes.
And but anyway, what was I saying? Oh yeah, and like I've always liked the conspiracy theory, like the whole like, whoa, what is this? And a lot of people, I felt like, now this is another part of my main question. Let me answer this question. So creepypastas were like, it's short for like copy and paste, or like a pun off of that, or play on words. And it was basically a story you just told on the internet, like Squidward's suicide, where SpongeBob and Squidward from SpongeBob SquarePants commit suicide. It went on air for some reason, or it was like a VHS, and it was a scary story. Or another one where there's like a creature called the SCP-175 or something, and every time you blinked, it would catch up to you, but if you opened your eyes, it would stay still. So if you kept your eyes on it, it couldn't move unless there was like an obvious barrier in front of you, like a glass box or some shit. Like anyway, it's honestly nothing to. There's nothing to sneeze at there. Salad fingers. God damn, I used to hate that shit.
Dude, this is what I think of as the epitome of that shit. Like, think about it. Like, this is like creepypasta to the max.
Dude, I remember my classmates in, I think it was like junior high school, ninth grade. I used to hate I was like, dude, I don't get it. I don't understand this shit.
Well, like what I'm saying is like the stories with creepypasta, they're less creepy than salad fingers.
Right, because it was like sometimes I think the only thing that came good out, not good, but like the only thing that came fun out of it was this game called Slender Man. That was like the
Oh, no,
only.
people have literally been murdered over Slender Man.
I know, but that I think that's a psyop. That's some stupid shit.
Well, like the mainstream, yes,
Yeah,
but I've seen some not so mainstream sources where, like,
it's actually true.
yeah,
Interesting. That sucks. Anyway,
yeah,
but anyway, my this is like one of my main questions too. Okay, so I like conspiracy theories, obviously, because obviously I don't trust a lot of fucking big name shit like ABC, FBI, and all
hmm
this shit. Whatever that being said, um, I tend to notice that a lot of younger people do quote unquote conspiracy theories, but I feel like they kind of do it in like a shock humor kind of thing, where they're like like they don't really believe in it, but they say it. Like if someone doesn't believe in, like if they believe school shootings happen, which by the way, when's the last time we've had one? Even with all this Corona shit, I guess it would be a
Well,
house.
so
I guess it'd be a house shooting at this point. But
think about like the current youngest generations of infatuation with these various like fad topics as fad topics and not so much as a increase of the base level in the zeitgeist of the younger generation, but it's more of like, oh, this is a cool fad thing, and then next week they're going to be on vampires again.
right, that's what I'm seeing sometimes. Where I'm like, I remember when I was working at a place, and like I think a 19, 20-year-old comes up to me, and he's like, you know what? You know, this whole 9/11 thing doesn't make sense. I was like, bro, that's like 20 years ago. Like I did I did the research what I needed to do on that 2 years ago. You're not gonna find anything. Tell me what you find when you come back. If you're on it 2 years later, okay, we can talk. And I told him
Dude,
that
like,
because I was like, dude, I've been telling you this shit. You know, that's old. Now we're on. I think at the time it was at 2000.
hello, Trader Bear!
Hello, hello. And I was like, how about this? Here's a good one right now. And I told him, I was like, what was it? I was like, find out who owns the bank and the movies. And I was like, just for fun, right? This is when I was like, I never really like got the same vibe about hating Jews, but I knew that there were a thing in the movies. And I was like,
Right?
I was like, find out what Steven Spielberg really is. And then I just like drove off on my forklift. He's like, what does that mean? And I was like, just understand that you might need to tell just find out what Spielberg means. And then I like drive off on my forklift and I come back and I was like,
I like rusty spoons.
I
I
hate
like
this shit.
to touch them. The feeling of rust against my salad fingers is almost orgasmic. I must find.
Yeah, I can't do that anymore. It's too
Yeah,
creepy.
this reminds me of that. Not even creepy. It just reminds me of like all those Twinnie bops, like Scene Girls. You remember Scene Girls?
Yeah.
That's what it reminds me. Like they shop at Hot Topic and they have like black and white Masonic socks, and you're
Well,
like, ugh.
well, like, so for me, like, I can distinguish between these various, like, specific forms of, like, negative spirituality. But for me, it's more of like, all right, where is your spirituality coming from? And I look at it as a basic positive or negative, like, do you follow God or do you not follow God? And then
Yeah,
after I identify the positive or negative level, then I identify the genre after, if that makes sense.
yeah. Because like sometimes I'm like, why are you into conspiracies now? Like you're saying, like the way they come off. Sometimes I'm like, you just seem like you just like the fad, like the shock of it.
Yeah.
And
That's
I'm
why
like,
you have to identify someone's spiritual energy, positive versus
and
negative,
that was the
before you
second.
identify the
That was
fads they're talking about.
that was either the second or third thing I did to him. I was like, hey, you believe in God? Because it really is all like every conspiracy theory is like it really ends in God. Like it's
Yeah, dude, like whenever someone ever like talks to me about like something I find interesting I haven't heard of, or even if it's like the emeralds of or the what is it? The golden tablet, the emerald tablets of Thoth or whatever. Like all these like various like there's tons of topics where if they start talking in these various ways, then I'm like, all right, like either A, they're telling me something I haven't heard of, or B, they're telling me something I've already heard of and researched. But there's all these topics where it's like, all right, question one, how do you feel about God?
Oh, we're just on a spinning ball, and space is infinite, and stars are exactly big juicy balls that the NASA tells us, and nothing means anything. We are stardust, and it's like,
Well, it's like someone starts talking about the hermetic values and like the secret like UFO starship under the pyramids. I'm like, how do you feel about God?
Hey, what does
And
it
then
mean?
they're like, oh, but the Nephilim on a planet Centauri and blah blah blah, no, et cetera, et cetera. And then like in 26,000 years, they're gonna come around again, and like the slaves aren't happy anymore, and they need to keep mining gold. But
Hey,
how do you feel about God?
what does it mean when a praying mantis just jumps right in front of you, and they're not really in Riverside?
It means that that praying mantis is looking for further prey, and chances are because you're outside and there's a light source, the praying mantis instinctually knows that its prey goes towards light sources. Ergo, it's looking for crickets and moths and so on and so forth because of your outside light source. Maybe.
Yeah.
I may be crazy. I don't know.
I got scared there for a second. If it dude, if it fucking jumps on me, please don't fucking jump. I hate bugs so much, dude.
Are you scared of bugs?
I'm not scared of them. I just fucking hate them. They're gross.
Then fucking smash them and stop being a bitch.
No, I'm scared.
Oh, so you are scared of bugs.
They're just...
So you're scared of bugs.
He's moving, dude. He's fucking moving.
Dude, so like when I was like I don't remember this, but when I was like a little kid, my mom tells this story to me like all the time, where apparently at one of the first houses we used to live in, I started like crying, and that was rare because apparently when I was a baby I like never cried because I'm fucking awesome, but no shit, like apparently I never cried, but I guess one night I was crying, and so my mom, because I never cried, she was like really worried, and so she went to my bedroom, and like when she turned on the lights, apparently there was like this termite nest somewhere in the house, and like literally like Pixar style like invasion of the ants. They were crossing my bed. So as my mom turned the light on, she saw that my entire bed, like myself included, was covered in ants going to attack this like termite thing, and I was just like laying quietly as a little baby, like 4 or 5 years, like 5 years toddler,
with a cigarette in your hand.
Well, like I was like, so like how I don't know how I was like laying, but I was crying like and like quietly like sniffling, but like not making a big fuss, despite the fact my entire bed and myself was covered with ants. And my mom, according to the story, she freaked the fuck out, but she didn't know what to do because I was literally covered in ants. And so she had to wait until all the ants stopped covering me and went to the termites. And then she like quickly grabbed me from my bed. But like even in that like super stressful situation,
How many
as a
ants
baby,
were on you?
I was just like, meh, meh, meh. Like I wasn't even full crying, according to the story.
How many ants were on you?
Like, dude, so according to what my mom said, like, and I would assume she's exaggerating, but my mom said that my entire bed, like all my sheets were covered, and as she turned the lights on, her first reaction was like she like pulled off the first cover, and like so like the first cover was covered with ants, but she pulled the first cover off, and then like the second layer was also covered with ants. And so assume my mom is exaggerating, but basically, apparently as a little baby, I was covered in like a shit ton of ants, and I wasn't like really that worried about it.
Because I heard, dude, this thing, ooh, it's moving his head over.
Yeah, Trainer Bear says, allegedly.
Dude, that sounds believable too. Cause like, can you imagine the ants in Africa?
Well,
Like,
dude, like the ants in Africa are are entirely different from the species of ants in America,
oh,
which
what?
are
They're
entirely
bigger.
different from.
What? They're bigger, huh?
Well, no, like if you look at the this aggressiveness of the different
Yeah,
like
I've heard of that. Where like African bees
yeah.
are way more aggressive than European bees.
Yeah, exactly. And so that same concept applies with different species of ants across the world. Like, for example, the Australian fire ants are the most aggressive in the and most deadly in the entire world, as opposed to the army ants of Africa, which are very aggressive territorially, but they're not aggressive in like destroying all the creatures in their territory, versus the African army ants, or no, excuse me, the army ants of South America, which are not as territorial as the army ants of Africa, but they're much more vicious when it comes to killing everything within their territory.
Maybe if I feed it, he'll leave me alone.
No, dude, smash that thing. If you see a bug, smash them.
He's too fast.
So, another story that my mom told me when I was a little kid is apparently like one of the first or second houses I ever lived in, there was like I forget the exact scenario, but somehow there was like this like wolf spider. And
Oh, those are
long
scary, dude.
story yeah, dude, wolf spiders are vicious. And like long story short, my mom thought the wolf spider was dead when she threw him in the toilet, and then she almost like this wolf spider almost bit my mom. Allegedly. But like,
Oh, he's looking.
dude,
Dude, he's getting too
insects
suspicious, bro.
can and will kill you. So, kill the insect before it threatens you.
Oh,
Just like communism. Fucking end that shit,
dude,
bro.
no, he started shit. He's onto me, bro. Dude, he's onto me. Dude, oh. Oh.
Don't be a coward. Just fucking end that bug problem.
Oh, dude,
Like-
he's gonna move. He's gonna jump.
Yo, you remember that movie, Starship Troopers?
No. I mean, I heard of it, but yes, but I mean,
So you've heard of it. This movie, Starship Troopers, it's basically a documentary from the future where the people of Earth, they refuse to step on bugs. And so long story short, bugs evolved to the point where like they have their own like interstellar fucking like community and shit,
uh-huh.
and they almost kill all the people. So if you don't want the bugs to evolve to like a super species and kill all the people, you have to kill all the bugs now.
All right. Got him. I knew I had it in me.
One more for mankind.
Fuck with me, dog. I'll fucking kill you.
I'm proud of you, bro.
Look at this motherfucker. Look at he did. Oh, he did.
Keep going.
Oh, he started moving.
Well, as long as you've successfully murdered this vicious killer, you have helped preserve the human species for another generation.
Someone put the Final Fantasy doing slow mo for me. Put the music and everything. I'm going inside because I'm scared now.
Why are you scared?
Because fuck bugs, bro. Yeah, I ain't scared. I'll fuck you up, dog. Think I'm scared of you? Shit. Come up on my fucking block like that? Punch you, sucker.
Do you think his buddies are going to try and take revenge on you?
Why would you say that? Why? Can they be that sentient? Are they that sentient, dude? No, seriously. Can they do that?
So,
I thought praying mantis was,
initially, alright, I will answer your question, but Instagram says I only have 20 seconds left, so we'll be right back.
All right, I'll give it to everybody else. Warbeard, I want to see what you look like and talk.
Yeah, Warbeard, you've got priority on the next stream. Yeah, so either Bell Reaver or War Bear. You guys have priority. Talk to you guys soon. End. End.